Hi, this is DarkFox127 and welcome to my Skyrim tutorial video. Today I'm going to be showing you how to create your very own Conjurable creature. So as you might have noticed, Bethesda didn't put too many Conjurables in the game this time around, so I'm giving you the ability now to add your very own so you can bring back the skeleton and stuff. So the first thing you want to do is actually load your Skyrim and update ESM files and go ahead and let that do that. Okay, during that loading process you might have got the odd error message and three options. Just click yes to all to those. First thing we want to do is we're going to want to go under actors and then click actor, and you'll get a whole list like this. Now if you've never messed with creating NPCs before, I recommend that you actually go and watch my tutorial video on NPC creation. I'll leave a link or put an annotation. What we're going to do is I'm going to make a Spriggan. If you wanted to make something else, you could be like creating a frost troll or a skeleton, then you'd want to search for that specific actor. So I'm going to just go ahead and search for a Spriggan, and as you can see it's filtered it down to quite a lot. Now usually bog standard Spriggan would be one like that has ENC on the start of it for enchanted Spriggan. So if you right click and preview, you can actually just check that it is what you want. As you can see it is. And you want to go ahead, right click and then duplicate. So you want a copy of the creature that you're going to be creating. And you want to go ahead and edit that. And all you want to do is you just want to change this ID here. You want to put summon at the start of it because it makes things easier. And then you want to just put Spriggan. Name Spriggan, that's fine. And if you're thinking, how do you get it to say that it's your specific Spriggan, the game does that for you when it's summoned. So there's no need to worry about that. This respawn box here, untick that. Click the unique box and either essential or protected. It's entirely up to you. Essential will basically mean that the only way it'll die is if the timer is up on the conjuration. Protected means that it can die before its time's up. And the other box that we're going to want to tick is summonable, so it actually appears in the list for the magic effect. If that doesn't make any sense, it will shortly. And as you can see, because I've duplicated the Spriggan, I've got most of this done for me. If we just click preview, yes to all. So there's the Spriggan. Most of it already done for us. A little extra I'm going to add into this tutorial. If you right click in that box, you can change like the zoom speed and the panning speed, so it makes it easier to sort of go in and visualize your NPC, because people usually have a lot of problem with that when you first load the kit. So that's all fine. The one thing I'm going to change is disposition. I usually put that quite high, so there's no trouble with that. Did that not do anything? That's odd. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Next thing you want to do, you want to go into stats. Now this is quite important and can be edited. Edited. Okay. So you can have a standard level that it stays at every time it's conjured, or you can actually go PC level mult and you can put its minimum like 10 and its maximum at 80, or whatever you want, personal preference. I'm going to just leave it at a standard level 8. And as you can see, the class is already done for us, which will determine the actual stats of the creature. The one thing I usually change on this is I add 15 on the end of the speed so it can keep up with you better when you're running along the road. Next you want to go into the factions tab, delete any factions in there, make sure it's empty. Do the same with relationships and keywords. AI data is pretty important. The only thing you really need to make sure of on here is that the aggro radius is unticked and that the aggression is unaggressive or aggressive. Usually you want to play it safe and just go unaggressive. Then you want to make sure that AI packages is empty. Mine is. There's one master package in there, but that's fine. That can be left on there. That's not going to affect anything. So if you have any packages, get rid of them. Then you want to go in the inventory. Just check a few things. Yep, there's no outfits. That's correct because it's a creature. And that the armor Spriggan shield's there because it's really part of what the Spriggan is. Spell list. You want to make sure that the common Spriggan spell lists are in here. Of course, you're creating whatever you want here, so you could actually add spells or remove them and add perks or remove those. I'm going to leave them how they are so it acts like a normal Spriggan. Then you've got here sounds, animation and attack data. All that can be left. So now we've got our actor ready. Click OK. Click no and then yes if you've gone the duplicate route. And as you can see, it's in the list as Summon Spriggan. Now the next thing we're going to need to do, there's about 3 more stages left, and the first stage is to create the spell. We're going to need an effect to put to the spell. So you want to just go under Magic there, and you want to click Magic Effect. And what you want to type in here is the word Summon, and you'll get a list of all or most of the summonable creatures already in the game. So you'll know that any of these in this list you won't need to do, they're already on the game somewhere, but as you can see, Spriggan isn't in the list. So you just want to go ahead and do the old duplicate trick. So we're going to just duplicate a Flame Atronach and then edit that. And what you want to do to start with, you just want to go ahead and anything that says Flame Atronach, change it to Spriggan. So I'll go ahead and do that. There we go, I've edited that. All I did was the magic item description down here said Flame Atronach, and it was only the ID and name actually. So associated item 1 says Atronach Flame as well. Now as you might have guessed, ours should have appeared in this list. There it is at the bottom, Summon Spriggan. That's why I put Summon on the start, because it comes along with their standard naming system and it made things a lot easier. The minimum skill level, you can decide that you have to have at least 50 conjuration. I'll be honest and say that this hasn't actually affected my newly created spells. I don't know whether it's a glitch with the creation kit or I'm missing something, but we'll see if it works. This target condition here, you can get rid of that. And for the most part, because we duplicated an already conjurable creature, everything is actually done for us in terms of visual and sound and a lot of the other things like the flags. So go ahead and click OK. And as you can see, I've made a mistake here. I've called the ID Summon Spriggan, which is the same as the actual associated item. So if you just want to put the word effect on the end of there, go ahead and click OK. No, then yes. As you can see, that's now in the list of the magic effect. Next thing you want to do is you want to go ahead and actually create your spell. So if you just click under Spell, and then you want to change the filter to Conjure. And here's all the conjurable creatures in the game. Again, we want to just duplicate the Flame Atronach one, go in and edit it. And you've guessed it, you want to change everything that's Flame Atronach into Spriggan. And the next thing you want to do, you want to just remove any magic effects currently in there. You'll get a little warning, just say yes to it. And you can actually change stuff like the range or the minimum required skill. Now I put mine to 50, so I'll change that to adept required. And the rest again is already done for us. Now the next thing you want to do, you want to right click new, and then you should actually see your effect in here near the bottom again. And as you can see, there it is, Summon Spriggan effect. And then you can just set the duration. Now you can change this in seconds, minutes, hours or days. Have it whatever you want, but we'll stick to it being quite fair and we'll play 60 seconds, that's a minute. OK. And you might have noticed that it's actually auto-calculated the cost of the spell. Usually this is pretty accurate and fair, but if you don't like it, then you can untick that and then put in your own values. Just be careful of what you're putting in. I'm going to leave it as the auto-calculate. And I think the range is pretty fair too. So we'll go ahead and click OK. No, and then yes. All that's left is being able to learn the spell. And the way we usually do that is through a book. So if you're under Items and Book, and because our filter's already under Conjure, we've got a list of some Conjurable spell tune books. And again, we'll just copy the Flame Atronach one because it makes things easier, and we'll edit it. And once again, it's a matter of changing everything that says Flame Atronach into Spriggan. And there's also one thing to note that I'll mention in a second. And that is within the book text, when you're changing that into Spriggan, you might actually get an error correction come up. Just put ignore all, don't try and correct it, because it'll actually muck it up basically. You can change the value and the weight of the book. I'm going to make it 300 because I think it's pretty special to be able to conjure a Spriggan. And the major thing you next want to do is you want it to teach your Conjure Spriggan spell, which should now be in the list. If it isn't, you've done something wrong. So just backtrack. Click OK, no, and then yes. And there's only one thing left to do, and that is to place the book in the game. So I usually just, for testing purposes, put everything in Riverwood. So we'll probably just go with a sleeping giant in. You just want to load up that cell. And we'll put it by the fire. Drag and drop that in. And there you have it. So if you go in there now, it will actually be teaching you how to conjure a Spriggan that will appear in your effects. So one thing I'm going to do, I'm going to double click that, click ownership and make sure it's player. And you'll want to actually do that if you're putting it in a public place and you want to be able to take it, otherwise it's going to be classed as stealing. So just click OK. It's another added bonus to this tutorial. So now you're going to want to save, and we'll just name it the tutorial. Okay, and I'll nip in game and show you our Spriggan working. So here we are. Let's pick up our book. As you can see, we'll nip outside out of the way. Now, if we just go into our inventory in items and then books, spell tune conjure Spriggan, summons a Spriggan for 60 seconds wherever the caster is pointing, so we've named everything right. If you click on it, you'll actually learn that spell. Go into your magic, go under conjure Spriggan, there it is, adept. And as you can see, our very own Conjurable Spriggan. And as I mentioned, it says Prisoner's Spriggan, that would actually be your character's name.
So, a costume?
So, thanks very much for watching.
Serious.
I hope you found the video helpful.
Sure I am.
Please leave comments and visit my website. Numerous links within the description, and I will speak to you next time.
Nobody's gonna believe that you're